Today on the channel, we got another San Diego Comic-Con recap video, and today we're diving into Hasbro and Marvel Legends.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another San Diego Comic-Con 2025 recap of my experience and what I saw out there at San Diego Comic-Con. And we got a lot of these videos, but today we turn our attention to Hasbro, we turn our attention to Marvel Legends, and an interesting setup for Marvel Legends this year as things are changing, things are moving, and it feels like the last year, maybe 2 years even, we've got a little bit dialed back on our Marvel Legends, a little bit of a restring, a little bit of a rerun of how they want to go to market, how they want to do things, you know, going away seemingly from the HasLabs, at least for the time being, going to here's a window for a Sentinel, here's a window for a Dragon Man, here's a window for Mephisto, getting to him in a little bit here, instead of the HasLab process, which I actually do prefer. I think I like this better. I like how they've done this, and I guess we'll have that Dragon Man shortly, and we did see him this week at San Diego Comic-Con as to be expected. But Hasbro always puts on a nice little display, be it G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, that whole area over there. And Marvel Legends team did not disappoint this year. As I walked in, first thing I noticed was all those Sentinels that are coming this fall, looking absolutely amazing with the X-Men 97 figures. And we got more X-Men 97 figures as well. That was pretty much the biggest part of everything that was revealed, I did think. But it was a very nice setup there, the glass cases, everything. Hasbro was nice enough to invite me to their Hasbro breakfast. What was that? Thursday morning, I believe that one was. Always nice to get a free breakfast because, as you guys know, San Diego Comic-Con is a very expensive trip. Just airfare and then hotels, that'll break you. That'll put a man to his knees, and then they finish you off with all the exclusives you got to buy. So whenever you get a free meal here and there, it's a good thing. Looking at you, Todd McFarlane, thanks for that meal as well. Thanks to Hasbro for the meal. And then there was a place called Crisp. I don't know, San Diego people probably heard of it, but it was like a gas station pizza shop. They had a thing right by our hotel, show your badge, you get a free slice of pizza. So, you know, I took advantage of at least one of those every single day. So you got to do it. You got to get a deal out there, of course. But we dived into Hasbro, and I guess I'm just going to go through my iPad here with some of the pictures to go along with this one here. Now, I did say the X-Men 97 display with the Sentinels was absolutely amazing. I was just looking at that. I was like, I need to set mine up that way. And I forget. I think I ordered 2 of those Sentinels. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Get excited when it comes. But Sentinels are my favorite, going back to the original Toy Biz, the original X-Men animated series. Can't wait to play around with those. Can't wait to get those in my collection here in the next couple of months. But they were displayed with the X-Men 97 stuff in the display there. But there was a lot of cool stuff revealed. And one thing I will say about Hasbro this year, I felt like you almost didn't need to be at San Diego Comic-Con. And I've talked about the pros and cons of San Diego Comic-Con multiple times. Every year I say, this is it. This is my last time at San Diego. We'll see what next year ends up bringing. But they did do a YouTube stream. I don't know if it was live or not, but they basically recapped the panels, recapped everything right there, tight and nice for you from the comfort of your own house. You didn't have to beat the traffic, wait in the lines, do all that kind of stuff. You got it right there in your face, which is nice. Everybody likes it right in their face, don't they? But I did appreciate that video, but then I was like, why? I could just watch this at home. I could get the same effect. And they did that for the Joes and all the other brands there. And of course, the Marvel Legends one. And Marvel was the only one I actually watched. I was in a hotel and I watched it because I did miss the Marvel Legends panel. It's hard to get some of these panels when they overlap or there's 15 minutes, a half hour in between, because a lot of people wait in these rooms for the big panels. They sit through a couple of panels they don't want to see just to hold their spot. So there was no way to get from the Joe, which I had to see the Joes. You know me, Yo Joe all day long, right? Had to get to that, and I didn't have enough time to make it to Marvel, unfortunately. So that's the way it ended up dropping out. It was a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. But it was nice to watch that video to get my recap. And I guess we'll start the recap here, and we're going to go with Mephisto. We mentioned him earlier. He was supposed to be part of that HasLab with Ghost Rider. Now he's on his own. A few tweaks, a few differences. Gets a throne, gets all the extra display pieces, a little bit larger figure, a little bit skinnier, but it is Mephisto. And makes perfect sense to do it this way than trying to send him to Target, Amazon, and stuff, because we know the devil figure is not really popular with a lot of kids, but the adult collectors, we all need a little Satan in our life, don't we? Hail Satan! I don't know if I go that far, Todd. Calm down over there from the couch. But Mephisto looks very good. It is a key player in our collections that we need in our collection. So, of course, you can order him right now. You got the limited window. Get in at the last minute. That's what I'm going to do there. But it does look good. I'm happy to get Mephisto in the collection. I think a lot of people have been screaming for this one. They got to be happy. I think the last Mephisto figure we got was from Diamond Select once upon a time, if I'm not mistaken. So we do got that one coming. Now, an interesting one I still don't really understand because this has went over my head since I was a little kid. I've never played it, don't understand it. It is Magic the Gathering, and they're doing a Magic the Gathering Marvel crossover. So apparently there's a Magic the Gathering Marvel card game. Apparently they gave us a pack at the Hasbro breakfast. Once again, I don't know anything about it. I don't want anything to do about it, but I do like action figures, and it looks like they're crossing the brands together. And it's all about crossing the brands, yes, and crossing the streams, Todd McFarlane. It's all about synergy and getting things. We see it in food products where you get two different things. You get a Butterfinger coffee creamer with International Delight or whatever it may be. Using the power of Butterfinger, power of International Delight, bring them together, get extra eyes, moving some stuff. We're seeing that in toy lines all the time. We've seen so many mix, mashes, mashups, things like that. And now we got another one right here. And it is Marvel Legends and Magic the Gathering. But the nice thing is, if you're like me, you don't know anything about Magic, you don't want to deal with Magic, you get the figure right there. And the first one we're going to talk about, Agent Anti-Venom. We got the reverse colorways in the Walmart, or I guess it wasn't Walmart, it was everywhere. Spider-Man retro carded wave. We got the black version, now we get the white version. I always get confused. Was the white version a Walgreens exclusive once upon a time, or was it the black, or was it both? Whatever, either way, it is a nice update to this figure. Makes sense they're putting this out there, just basically the same figure, change the paint, and voila, you're off to the races there. So it does look good. Very interested with those blue guns on this one. I don't know if I like that. We'll see how they go in hand. Then we get Mary Jane Watson as the Iron Spider. Now, I don't know about this. I don't remember this from the comics, cartoons, anything like that. So that is an interesting one, but it is technically a new version of a classic character. I think it will be fairly popular. Comes with all the magic hoopla with it as well. But the one that stole my heart and the one I got to get day one purchase is, of course, Man-Wolf, J. Jonah Jameson's son, as we do know. Not the Man-Wolf I'm familiar with. This looks like classic 70s, like sword and sorcery in space swashbuckling action. And I think that was something he did along the way. But give me all the hairy bipedal creatures. You know me. I love a hairy bipedal creature. And we do get Man-Wolf for the first time ever in the Marvel Legends line. This is going to be a pretty cool one. This was one of my favorite things as far as Marvel reveals over the weekend. Looking very, very nice there. But they weren't done. There was one last one. It is Spider-Man. You got to have Spider-Man, but battle damage Spider-Man. That was a classic one back in the Toy Biz days. Love that we're getting this one here. I love a rough and rugged Peter Parker Spider-Man, and that's what we got, part of this Magic line. So impressed by that figure. That looks pretty good. But now we're getting into the biggest portion. I think the one that had the most buzz, it was X-Men 97. We talked about the Sentinel display, but we did get the figures. They're up for pre-order right now. Head to your DJC Collectibles of the world, get your pre-orders in. You know how that goes. We do got Emma Frost coming in hot, even though she's a little bit cold. We got her coming to the line. We've had a lot of Emma Frost. Here's another one here with X-Men 97. We do got Sunspot. It's funny, when I think of Sunspot, I go back to his classic Toy Biz X-Force figure from way back when, but this is the one from X-Men 97. Jubilee's boyfriend, kinda, sorta, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? And then we do got Jubilee. Got a little bit different costume here. A flashback to the old school Marvel Legends one way back when. She got the black costume under the yellow trench coat there. Got the effect pieces. Got the drink. Got all the rigmarole there with Jubilee. And then we get one of my all-time favorites. So happy to finally get this one. We're just missing the motorcycle now. It's, of course, old school Toy Biz version. Loved it as a kid. Now we get an updated, improved one. It is Wolverine and, of course, his jacket. Lumberjack Wolverine. I don't know what you want to call it. He's got the cards. He's ready to play a quick hand with you. But I love this version of Wolverine. A classic one from my playing days as a kid. And then we got one, probably the most wanted one, or one of the most wanted one for people. A huge part of X-Men 97 is, of course, Morph in the X-Men animated series. I don't know. We're going to see how this one is when we get it in handy. It just feels and looks, I don't know about feel, but looks very, very skinny. Very skinny on this guy here. So not sure how I feel about that one. We do get the extra heads, though, which is always nice. Of course, I got to find a suited body there for Creed. I'll have to figure that one out in the future. But somebody recommend me a good suited body to use. I want a cheap one that, I don't pay $50 for a suited body. But I'll figure something out for that. But I do like that Morph. That's going to be a good one in the collection. And my favorite one that was revealed, it just barely eked out that Wolverine. It is this Cable, that classic cartoon Cable. Loved that. Of course, being a 90s kid, you love the X-Force, you love the Cables. Love to get this color edition of Cable. Looks very, very good. Reminds me just of the old days. But we're not done with the X-Men 97. They've got, of course, the retro card, which we all know and love. But now they're moving into the 2-pack era, and we do get Gambit and Rogue playing basketball. Now, deep cut, weird cut, goofy cut, I don't know what you call it. Gambit looks strange. I thought the animation for Gambit in the cartoon of this scene looked weird to me, and it looks even weirder in action figure pose. It almost looks like they had reuse, and we know the disaster that was starting lineups, don't we, Todd? We know the disaster of the starting lineups brand. It almost looks like, hey, we got these starting lineup molds. We could use that for Gambit. Somebody make a Gambit head. We'll put it on a basketball mold. It almost feels that way. And then you got the ball and everything else. I wasn't into that brand, so I'm not exactly sure. But I wonder if there was any reuse from maybe even the basketball on this. But Gambit looks very, very strange. He's got just a weird torso. The way he looks with the cut lines there, it's just a weird looking figure. But I love a deep cut. I love things like that. But it looks very, very strange. Rogue looking only like Rogue could look, I would say. Got the halter top here, the crop top. You know, those are great. I love it. My wife wears those around too a lot. But the problem is with Rogue wearing this, and I thought it in the show as well, she's got her full suit, then putting that on there. Why? It just seems weird. Why wear the extra layers? Doesn't make sense. Like when my wife wears it, she doesn't wear a bodysuit. She just wears the top. You know, it's a weird thing. I don't understand it. I don't know why she would do that. I guess they were playing shirts for skins, though. Because they're playing one-on-one, but we're playing shirts for skins. Hey, you know, don't question them. They're mutants. That's what I'll say. But an interesting 2-pack, a deep cut 2-pack. Be interesting to see how well that one does sell. And then a more traditional pack in there. I would say throwback costumes. Now we say this is Wolverine's old costume, but it's his middle costume, I guess we'll call it. But it is the brown and yellow Wolverine, a classic costume no matter how you slice and dice it, of course. Can't wait to get that. Can't wait to get Storm. Even though we've had these multiple times in the past, we're going to keep continuing getting these kind of characters because popular performers, popular characters, whatever you want to call them, you're going to have those out on a decent clip, of course. And we're seeing these ones once again. Looking really good, I did think. And then we got one a lot of us were hoping to see here with Cyclops and Marvel Girl, Jean Grey editions from the throwback piece in the cartoon, of course, but also the classic comic editions there. Looking very, very nice. This one could be the heaviest hitter of the packs, of the 2-packs right there. Now, we did see another Storm on the Toy Biz flashback cards. I remember this Storm figure as a little kid. You used to have the little button. You could light up the little lightning bolt. Very, very classic, very nostalgic here for me, especially if you were a fan of the Toy Biz figures once upon a time. This will be a Target exclusive, so we did see that. We also saw a comic exclusive Emperor Doom. I guess this is when he took Doctor Strange's cloak. I don't follow this. I don't know about this, but it's cool to get another Doom out there. It's a mishmash. I guess put it on your cosmic shelf. Put it with your Doctor Stranges if you want to. Emperor Doom coming in extra hot. And then this one looked really good. It's a comic 2-pack. Champion of the Universe and Star Fox. Now, I know Star Fox, of course, Thanos' brother, always looking goofy here. They got it to a T. I don't know this Champion of the Universe, but it looks like it's a lot of Jakks reuse, if I'm not mistaken here. Wild blue skin with the red hair, and then he does got the championship belt, so shout out to him. If he is the Champion of the Universe, he's got the belt to prove it. So he looks like he's ready to defend it as well, which is pretty cool to see. So another 2-pack, have to imagine fan channel exclusive on that one. And then a deep cut back to Chris Star. Of course, Chris Star stole our hearts about a year ago or so. What is time? Now we get Marvel's Warbow. Once again, don't know this character, but I love translucent plastic. And you put an eye patch on translucent plastic, playing all the hits. That's what this one is. So I'll be picking that one up there. And then a classic one we needed to help complete some teams. We got Feral finally. We got Wolfsbane in the past. Now we got Feral. Looking like Feral when I close my eyes right here. Once again, hairy bipedal creature. Sign me up all day long, twice on Sunday. Ready for Feral in my collection. Same thing with Excalibur, of course. Captain Britain was one of my favorites as a kid reading comics. Now we get Rachel Summers here. The old Dark Phoenix, ready to rock and roll, strut and stroll in the Excalibur line. Going to make a lot of people happy. And possibly my favorite reveal for the Marvel Legends, guys, was World War II Logan. This one could very easily put in with your G.I. Joe collection if you wanted to, I think. You could take those claws off and have him a member of the Joe team. He looks like an army guy. Very cool, but of course, if you read Wolverine throughout the years like I did in the 80s and 90s, you absolutely love things like this. You love this Wolverine coming at us, and it's something different. We get a lot of Wolverines. It's nice to get a little change of pace here every once in a while. Very excited to get that one in the collection. And then last but certainly not least, on, I guess, Sunday, and I had left San Diego Comic-Con by now, they did show Dupe, so it looks like we're getting Dupe here. Now, we got Dupe Once Upon a Time. I never got Dupe in my collection, so happy to have this here. Have to imagine he'll be a part of an accessory or something else, or with another figure. Have to imagine that's going to be the key. We'll stay tuned for that, but Dupe looking pretty good. Happy to get something new. And of course, with all toy lines, be it Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe or WWE, you got to have classic characters and their classic looks out there every couple of years. But it's always the deep cuts that excite the hardcores like you and I out there. And things, there was a lot of good stuff out of the Marvel team. And like I said, they've had a rough couple of years personally, in my opinion. I really feel like they're back on an upswing right now. And a lot of good reveals here, a lot of good stuff, and a lot of different practices that I think so far, at least to me, once again, are working out for them. So that's Marvel Legends, of course, from Hasbro. What were your thoughts on their San Diego Comic-Con announcements, reveals? Anything you're excited for? Anything that's an easy pickup, hard pass? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to both my YouTube channels. 2 channels with content every single day. Check out YouTube channel memberships and Patreon to support the channel and get tons of bonus content and early videos from everything from both channels, all the way down to my podcast, of course, each and every single Tuesday, The Kyle Peterson Show. Wherever podcasts are found, videocast on YouTube. Patreon YouTube channel members do get early access to that each and every week. Check out Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. So for San Diego Comic-Con 2025 Marvel Legends, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?